Hi everyone, we're going to do a quick run through of setting up an eBird account and submitting an initial list just to get you used to recording your observations and then submitting them to this site for a perusal by scientists or anyone else interested in area birds. So what you're first going to want to do is go to ebird.org and you'll come up with this page, and you're going to click on this sign in or register as new user. So when you click on this, you'll be brought to this page where you can either sign in if you have an account, or you can create an account here. And so you can just fill out these topics: first name, last name, email address, username, and password. And then you can create your account and it'll link to your email. This is important for both getting some updates if they have to update, or if you have a remarkable sighting. If you have a sighting that is out of the ordinary, the reviewers can contact you and get a little more information. If you have a picture or more of a description than you could enter, they'll be able to contact you and have a conversation about the bird. Now I already have an account, so I'm just going to go ahead and log in. And once you log in, it takes you directly to the Submit Observations tab. We'll go back to this home page. You can see there's an About section. You can read about what eBird is and why it's useful. This first home page has news and features and so forth, and they'll update that fairly regularly. We have Submit Observations, Explore Data, which has a lot of personalized information for county level birding or state level birding. So if you're going to go on a trip somewhere and you want to know what's being seen at High Island or in Galveston or Port Aransas and so forth, you can click on that and explore the data down to that level, even down to park level, hotspot level. And of course there's My eBird, and that keeps your list for you. That'll tell you what you've seen, when you've seen it, and things like that. So for our purposes, we'll just stick with the Submit Observations tab, and we'll start this. Choose from your location. This brings up all the locations you've ever entered. If you've done eBird for a few years, like I have, you wind up with quite a few lists and quite a few personal sites. So what we'll do is, for this purpose, we'll say we'll find it on a map. We're going to find it. We'll start with we'll enter our county. We're going to be in Brazos and Texas, United States. So that should fill in automatically for us. So it'll just kind of work its way through the internet and bring up a map of Brazos County. And you can see these blue spots are all of my personal sites that I plugged in as we're driving around town or out in the county. We'll put in a spot, a sighting when we see it. If you zoom in a little bit more, these red spots, these are hot spots. These are the spots that are designated as a key component or an often birded area. Things like Lick Creek Park or Bee Creek Park. Things like that where lots of people go. We try and compile all those lists in the same area. It makes it easy to look at those lists and say, how many birds do we have at Lick Creek Park? How many birds do we have at Fin Feather Lake, and things like that. So for this instance, if we're going to set up for our backyard, what we can do is zoom in to wherever you live. And in my case, what we're going to see is we live on Dowling Road, and as we zoom in, you'll see that I have a couple of little blue spots here already. These are our personal sightings or personal locations. And if I wanted to make a new sighting location, I could just say, I could find the spot where I was on this map and then click, and it'll give me a green spot that will turn blue eventually, and then I can enter in whatever name I want to enter. Now for this case, we're just going to click on this one, Backyard, Brazos County. This is what we've named our backyard. And then once we have that, we're going to hit continue. So then they want to know when and how you birded. So this is going to be a list that I did yesterday morning. And we were stationary. So we started this list at 8:30 a.m. and we birded for about an hour. It's both Sarah and I birding. Then of course we have other things that to look at. You can have an observation type of traveling, a historic. If you don't quite remember all the details, but you have a great list from the coast from years ago, or even from Brazos County a few years ago, any type of list you might have, they want to know that builds their database, that builds the information that we have. We also have this incidental list. If we just happen across some birds and driving down the road, if we weren't really birding, if that wasn't our primary purpose, we can still enter that. It's still valuable data. It's still a sighting of a bird. So we can just go ahead and enter that as incidental. But so for yesterday, we were stationary and looking out the window in the backyard. We did it for about an hour, and it was both Sarah and I. So we'll hit continue again, and we'll start looking at the list that we've recorded. I recorded this on paper just out of convenience, and I'll just input it here. So we had one Eurasian collared dove, and so this list will come up with things that we've seen frequently recently, 10% or more as far as being reported right now. And then we have other ones that are not reported. And so we haven't reported black-billed whistling ducks lately, but we do have them from time to time. And we might get lucky and get snow geese flying over. This kind of covers all the birds that might be possible in Texas for this time of year. But you can see that list is fairly long. But what we'll look at is the things that we should be getting or might be getting pretty soon seasonally. So Eurasian collared dove. We had 10 mourning doves, and some of these birds are a little bit tricky to count because they come and go and they're flying around and lots of individuals are there, and it's hard to get an accurate count. But what's recommended is if you have a situation like that, like cardinals will be another one, or house finches if you have a big flock of house finches. If you have birds coming and going to your feeder, go ahead and count as many as you can in one viewing. If you can count 10 at once, stick with 10. If they come and go some more and more fly in, you get 12, go ahead and count 12. Don't add the 10 that you saw before and the 12 that you saw more recently for 22, because that might not be accurate. That might be double counting a number of birds. So we'll just go with the most that we can see at one time. So we didn't have a white-eyed vireo. We had we didn't have a chickadee. Let's see. We had 4 chipping sparrows, a northern mockingbird. We had 9 northern cardinals, 2 house finches, 2 pine siskins came to our thistle feeder. We didn't have any goldfinches. And we also had one on here that I don't see. We had some brown-headed cowbirds come by. So what I can do, I don't see it right here, and I can scroll down this not reported list and get the large list and search for that. But I can also just search for it and just jump to species. So if I start typing brown-headed cowbird, so brown creeper, no, thrasher, that would be nice, but no. Brown-headed cowbird, you click on that, and it takes us all the way down to where we want to find that bird. So we had 4 of those come by, and then we also had some house sparrows, conveniently enough. They're right there. And that's my list right now. Oh wait, I had a tufted titmouse too. Where are you? Tufted titmouse. There he is. Okay, so we have everything. We have the full list. All the birds that we saw from 8:30 to 9:30 yesterday morning. So before we submit this, we say, are you submitting a complete checklist of all the birds you're able to buy? And you say yes. If not, that's okay. If you're not submitting all the birds, that's all right. They prefer complete checklist. It kind of gives a little bit more formality to the list, but it's not necessary to submit the list. So once make sure we have all the birds that we wanted to see, we've checked yes, that we submitted a complete checklist, and we go ahead and hit submit. And there we go. This is my list. I had 10 species, 1 collared dove, mourning dove, titmouse, mockingbird, chipping sparrows, cardinals, brown-headed cowbirds, house finch, pine siskins, and house sparrows. And that's all there is to it. That's all you need. And you can do other things like embed photos or make comments to the reviewers or make comments. Especially as we get to breeding season, you can note if they were carrying nesting material, building nests, sitting on nests, things like that. And we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But for now, that's how you submit your checklist from your backyard.